Hey guys, this is Jamie. I'm sorry for being absent. I was really wrapped up in a bunch of presentations and then I got a cold and in general I still feel quite ill, but I figured I need to talk about this and the sooner I get it out, the better because I really felt like I'm not getting better, like throat-wise, nose-wise, head-wise, and everything. So anyway, without a further introduction, I do want to talk about Sasha Colby and her quote about trans men. So before I dive deeper into this, I want to say that originally I did feel very uncomfortable even bringing this up because I think that obviously it's very important that someone like Sasha Colby won Drag Race, a trans woman again won Drag Race. She's obviously been a big part of the drag scene. She is a pioneer of sort of she's very talented. She's been an activist for ages. But at the same time it just doesn't erase the fact that her quote can be misused and can be seen as something further to attack to attack trans men. So she was on in an interview and she started talking about her experience as a trans woman, and she said that trans folks don't go around killing trans men. And it was the comparison that got to me. And in general, I don't want to say that like all trans women have issue with trans men, but it is a sort of recurring thing that happens. And obviously there are trans men which blame trans women, and in general, our communities tend to fight every once in a while. But I just feel like someone with the current platform that Sasha Colby has, it's not a good look to do. And I have spoken about transphobia in the past, so I figured, and specifically Drag Race contestants, and it would be weird of me to ignore someone just because I really respect her as a performer. I enjoy her art. So she kind of just falls into this mindset that trans women are the only ones getting murdered, or just because they are getting murdered or their murders are getting registered far more than trans men, then they are the ones who deserve to be talked about. Now, trans men are obviously getting murdered, but some of the reports don't go because people are very transphobic. People see trans men as confused women, confused lesbians, confused whatever. And we have seen that in general people don't take trans men seriously. Just like trans women can be seen as a man in a dress or whatever, so can trans men be seen as confused women. So obviously, it's the same rhetoric being spat out by a trans activist. And I do understand that we need to talk about each other's issues, and I do try to talk about trans women's issues, but I do understand that I am raising awareness from the perspectives that I know, from things I notice, from my experiences. But when it comes to, but I wouldn't be throwing some other community under the bus. Right now, I'm literally just saying that I do not enjoy this interview and the fact that it was getting called out on Twitter. She didn't take any further action, as far as I'm aware, and as far as I'm aware of the date of this video. So she didn't apologize. It was a major discussion, and it was just shoved under the rug, just like a lot of trans men issues. And while I was looking back, because obviously this happened a few weeks ago, I did notice a pattern as well, which was interesting, that people said that people don't understand that trans men experience misogyny when they don't pass. And this was I had a very, very interesting discussion the other day on a subreddit. And while I personally don't feel like I ever experienced misogyny or, I don't agree with the terms such of trans men going for female socialization. I feel like our experiences are still of a man's experience because we are male from when we are born. We just happen to have sort of different chromosomes and obviously different genitalia. But that does not make us obviously any less male. So not being male doesn't let us experience misogyny, in my opinion. Then I talked to another person, another trans guy, and he went for his own set of experiences. He explained his own point of view, and we agreed that literally his experience is that, my experience is different. And I do want to say that obviously sometimes I do sort of statements like, oh, we all don't experience misogyny. I'm just saying that from my personal experience, I would not use it as a blanket statement. And from my perspective, I wouldn't want anyone to tell me that I have been a victim of misogyny, because I don't feel that way. I don't feel I have. I feel like the hate crimes which have been committed against me were on the basis that I was either male or I was either trans man. So, yeah. So one of the arguments was obviously about Sasha Colby, Sasha Colby, saying that trans men do not experience murders, and people saying no, they do because they experience misogyny due to female socialization. I feel like that's not applicable, in my opinion. But again, if other trans men feel that way, and they feel that it is integral to their experience, and also we have to keep in mind that we're just talking about binaries. Like, there's obviously fluid people, there's transmasc people who may feel like their experience or the hate crimes they have felt committed against them can be seen as misogyny or are in their views. I cannot speak over other people's traumas. So obviously, I just feel like we're really painting over everyone's traumas. And yesterday's discussion really made me sort of think back and realize that there are certain things that we can sort of apply for all the community, and there are certain things which are going to be individualistic, such as like trauma. Not everyone experiences trauma, not everyone goes through the same trauma. Or another experience would be, I call myself a transsexual. I don't like the word transgender, but I do understand the community uses transgender for everyone. So I use transgender for everyone in order not to upset everyone, because I know that people do not like the term transsexual, but I use it to myself. If other people like it as well, then I will use it to them as well. So it's a sort of, you need to understand where the community stands. What does the community usually use? And not be tone deaf, So that's pretty much it. And I really wanted to talk about this because I just felt like, sure, like I've done videos on like Victoria Skull and Leslie Feinberg, and these are people who absolutely, specifically Leslie, I have absolutely no compassion to. But when it comes to Sasha Colby, obviously, I really like her. I like her performances. So I was really rooting for her Drag Race. So obviously, I have to call out her just like I call out other people who I do not like. Even people who I like or who I see as activists, we're allowed to critique them. And obviously people who we do not enjoy can do good things, and vice versa. And another example is, like, for instance, I know I personally never liked Elliot Page that much, and I even have a video on him because I was really uncomfortable that he was going to be a representative of our community, because I felt like I could never really relate to his struggles, and I felt that he always talked about trans women more rather than the issues that trans men face, even despite the fact that he is a target for transphobia, like from people like Jordan Peterson. And I feel like he could be talking more about transmasc issues, but he doesn't. So, but at the same time, good for him. He's releasing a book, he's living his life, and I am very happy that he's living. So yeah. All in all, I just really hope that that interview was a one-off from Sasha Colby. Maybe she'll get educated more on trans men issues, actually, and understand that what she said was very insensitive. But at the same time, what can I say? We all do mistakes. We all hurt people. And I am disappointed, but it is what it is. And it's not like I feel like she should be considered less of an icon because of that. It's more like, it's the fact that someone who I really liked, admired, I know they don't understand my issues properly. And they have spoken out against me, so it's that. That's life. So thank you very much for watching. I am very sorry for my stuffed nose and my voice breaking here and there. So hopefully I'll have enough energy to do another video and go back to my usual schedule. And I'll be more glammed up. It's just that I have a lot of things to do. I have a lot of deadlines. And this was the best time for me to do a video. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please spread it, because I do appreciate the fact that people have been spreading my videos, and I feel like it's very critical for people to see a trans man's perspective. And just not to feel alone, and I feel like we obviously need more awareness, specifically right now, where there's so much hatred directed to trans men, and people just ignore it as well. And in general, our community is suffering a lot, specifically in the US and the UK, and whatever's happening in Florida is horrendous, and yeah. Thank you very much for watching again. If you liked it, please share, subscribe, leave a comment if you wish, give it a like. Thank you.